right. Uh, so let's get started, right? So we're living in Miami. How long have you lived out here in Miami?
I was raised in Miami. I moved to Miami when I was one.
Awesome. So you've seen a lot of the changes, whether it's the growth in population within the last
Exactly,
three
three
years.
305 till I die.
Actually, so let me ask you this: how was it before COVID? What was the dating scene here?
Well, I hadn't. There was no dating scene for me. I
Okay.
was in a relationship at the time.
Oh shit.
hmm
Okay. Was it a good relationship?
No, no,
Okay.
no. Very toxic,
Okay.
cheating, manipulative. Not
Okay.
good at all.
All right. So, well, that sounds like a lot of what is being described as the current dating scene here in Miami.
Yeah, I always had a rule: never date a Hispanic man. No offense.
Okay.
My first Hispanic man ever. This is what happens.
All right. So never date a Hispanic man, and then so what are you dating now then?
I typically try to. I'm not a huge fan of I'm not a lover of Americans. It like depends where they are, like a man with a little bit of edge. So usually like Chicago, Boston's pretty good. Something, somewhere where you can feel a little edge, or European men. Can't go wrong with them.
So what you're describing is white men. So you rather date Caucasian men.
Yes.
Okay. Why? Why is that?
It's just again, it's about the stereotyping, and I know there's a rules to every exceptions. I mean, I have friends that are happily married, amazing husbands,
Hmm.
and they're Hispanic, so nothing against it. I'm just more along the lines of I'm not a huge risk taker when it comes to dating. So if you're telling me that about 75% of the population of Hispanic men are cheaters, I'm not going to go down that path. I'm
Hmm.
going to go more towards like the safer route.
Smart, smart. So nowadays it's completely different how we date now. So it's
hmm
either you meet someone outside on the street, which is rare, or you use a dating app. Do you use dating apps?
Yes.
Okay, which ones do you use?
So I'm currently only on Bumble. I've tried, I never downloaded Tinder, and that's because I was trying to date with a purpose. And Tinder just seemed to be more of a hookup app. So, if that's your thing, by all means, that sounds like an easy way to go.
Hmm.
And then Hinge, I initially downloaded it, but then I didn't like that you had to choose a question. It just looked like it involved a lot of effort. And after talking to a couple of my other girlfriends that are single, they said, well, to be honest, there is no difference between Hinge and Bumble. All the guys in Hinge are all on Bumble. So I thought to myself, well, you know what? Bumble is the way to go because it's for the lazy people, which is how I describe myself as.
Okay, so it's for the lazy people, but does that also attract lazy men who create profiles?
Well, they're also on Hinge too, so that answers your question.
Well, I don't
No.
know. I mean, I'm thinking if you're a lazy guy, you were on Bumble, then you went to Hinge, it prompts you for a complete profile. Now you're kind of like, oh, I got to elevate my game a little bit, right? I have to answer these questions, set a prompt. Maybe I'm more serious about what I'm looking for at this point.
No, I don't think so. I think for me, the key is what I look for is one, do they look like an asshole? That's you can always tell when a guy is an asshole because they look like an asshole.
What the hell? Wait, how do you look like an asshole? What are some of the things?
You have this certain look to you. You have this like the world revolves around me, like I'm the shit. Yeah.
Okay,
Every asshole has a look.
okay. So what's included in the picture? Is he wearing a blue shirt? Is he wearing?
Or like too flashy with like the boats with all the women behind. Like, I mean, come on.
Okay,
I know this is Miami, but tone it down.
all right. So does that include both Caucasian men and Hispanic men?
Yeah, all men.
Okay, all men. All right. So okay, so you've spotted what you think or what you consider are the red flags. So what are the green flags? So what kind of profiles are you targeting?
And then, oh, another red flag
Okay.
is when they say, looking for what relationship are you looking for? And they write, I don't know.
Oh,
That's a red flag because either you can leave it empty or you can put, which I try to go to, in a relationship.
okay.
But whenever it's I don't know, it literally is I don't know. I went on a date with a unintentionally an I don't know. It truly was an I don't know.
But what is, oh, I guess, how do you get to, I don't know, what is it? So you just want to go out on dates? Is that what it means?
Yeah, from my interpretation is like, yeah, they'll go either way. But they're like, oh, if I really find my, the love of my life, I'll get in a relationship with them. But will you?
Hmm.
Because you can find the love of your life But if you're not emotionally ready and available, then you're not going to date her now. Yeah, you can end up marrying her, but not at that moment. I also think that timing is very important in your life.
Hmm.
So if it's not there, it's not there.
So what age range are you looking for in these guys? So
Hmm.
what, I guess they haven't figured out where they want to be. So what age range is that?
Yes. So I'm 35 years old.
Hmm.
So I try to go for 35 to 45, 46. 46, I would say that's my stopping point. I don't because I look young, I attract a lot of young men.
Mm.
Yes, lot of people think a lot of women think it's a compliment. It is a compliment, but when you're trying to look for a serious relationship, it's not a compliment because the reality is a lot of young men, especially in Miami, are not ready to settle down.
Yeah. So what are they ready for? So they want to go out? Is it that they want to party?
I also I also really like men that are career driven, and I've noticed, I mean, I'm also a very career driven woman, is when you're young, you're not, you can only focus on one thing at a time. If you're working 60, 70, 80 hours, you're not going to devote your time to a relationship. You can care for someone and you can try to be in a relationship, but the reality is you're not going to put in as much effort as needed.
Okay. But are we looking at it from a perspective of a man or a woman? So who's looking at it from this person?
From both
Okay.
perspectives. I think from both perspectives. You can only do one thing at a time.
Okay. So it's either work 100% stay focused or work on a relationship.
I think the only way that it works for a workaholic
Hmm.
is if your significant other has a much more flexible job.
Okay.
So if, for example, they're working crazy hours or they have to travel somewhere, like you can just pick up and go, or you have that 9 to 5 job where you're like, oh, honey, don't worry about it. I got dinner. I have this. So you just have to be okay with taking on the domestic responsibilities.
Okay, so let's unpack this. So we're talking about the balance between a relationship. So someone's working and someone's at home,
Hmm.
and you have that flexibility where someone doesn't have to work as much to
Yeah.
be able to tend to the relationship. Is that what?
Yes.
Wait, okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the guys you've kind of seen in the age range. These younger guys, right? They don't have that balance yet. So is it either work for them or do they want to work? Do they not want to work?
Yeah. So the young guys that I've encountered with, either they've never been in a relationship, which is fine. I've only been on 2 relationships, so it's not like as you can see, very selective
Hmm.
with who I get in a relationship with. But it's much more that they are still so early on in their career that they need to still be grinding. They have no one to delegate their work to. They have no one. Everyone's delegating the work to them,
Hmm.
to be honest.
Okay.
And then, so my age range is 35, to 46 for a reason, because
Hmm.
I want a man that is still career driven, but has reached a point in their career that they're able to kind of slow it down.
Okay. So they reach their point in their career and now they want to slow, or the idea is that they slow down.
Hmm.
So now they're working, right? They can still work because they have to provide, right? Somehow.
Yeah.
But then let's say you're the partner in that relationship.
Hmm.
You want to slow down too, right? So you want to be able to slow down so you can tend to the relationship, or is it?
No, I've reached a point. I've been in my career for 11 years, so I've reached a point in my career where I have that life, that work life balance.
Okay. So you have that work-life balance. So I guess describe to me, once you found that person, what the ideal situation looks like on a day-to-day.
Hmm.
So he's working 40 hours, maybe 50 hours a week. You're working and you're established in your career and you're comfortable. What does that relationship look like? How does it work?
I want someone that's flexible enough, and I work 100% remote. So I enjoy traveling. So I want to be able to travel with my person. I want to be able to have those spontaneous travels. I want to be able to go out to nice restaurants to just have fun.
So the question on everyone's mind is, you want all these things, but who's paying?
In the beginning,
Hmm.
the man should be paying on the dates.
Okay. So the
And
man will pay for the dates.
yes,
What about the trips?
the trips, I think minimum, the man should pay for at least 60% of the trip.
Okay.
Minimum.
All right. What about, I'm assuming you guys would end up moving in together, right?
Hmm.
Who's paying for the rent?
That's a great question. I grew up in a traditional household, and my mom always said, that the man is a provider and therefore he should pay for for the rent or the mortgage.
Okay. So he's paying for the first date,
Mhm.
customary. I can agree with that. He's paying for the rent or the mortgage while you guys are together and building this family or whatever you guys are building. But what else? What else is he paying? And then what are you paying?
Worst case scenario, I'm saving up my money, and then if something happens, I have my emergency funds.
But wait, you're saving up your money for for if the relationship ends?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. You're
Oh, it's
supposed to laugh.
oh no. I think a lot of people in Miami, right? Because we're talking about Miami. Maybe it is a goal. I think women's innate nature is to feel secure.
Hmm.
And if you're not secure in the relationship, you need an exit plan,
Yeah.
right?
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, everyone in general should be saving, should have a savings. So to answer your question is one, I would have a savings. And then two, I would pay for the small things like groceries, utility, all that minor things.
Okay. But then what about his exit plan? How does he save up?
He should have a savings account.
But if he's spending all the money on rent and
What do you mean spending all his? No one should be spending all their money on their mortgage and the necessities, right?
yeah,
Not a very smart man, and I'm a smart woman, so I would
mhm,
not be with that type of man.
that makes sense. So let's go into trips. So trips, he's paying 60% of trips and you're
Yeah,
paying the other 40%.
yeah,
I think that's fair. I think a relationship is a two-way street and
yeah. I think typically what I've done is like, for instance, so we go on a trip and then he'll pay for the dinner. So dinners typically are more expensive, and then I'll pay for like the breakfast and lunch or something.
mhm. So, what advice would you give someone new coming to Miami about the dating scene and what to expect?
Hmm. I think it depends. I think it depends what you're looking for.
Hmm.
If you don't know what you're looking for, or if you're in that just want to have fun phase, then yeah, I mean, I say try everything.
Yeah.
Try every single dating app, and not just don't stick on the apps. Go try to meet a guy in person. Actually, where I get my most success rate outside of dating apps has been just going to a bar on your own. Don't have a bitch face, like be very friendly to the bartender, so someone will see that you're like friendly.
Approachable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, approachable. And then usually there's always like a guy there for work, and then so it has to be during a weekday.
So, happy hour, be approachable.
Hmm.
But do people know how to do that anymore? Do people know how to be approachable?
Yeah, yeah. Just talk to the bartender, be friendly, have a smile on their face, or if you're like, oh, like that looks like a great order. Like, what did you have for dinner?
But I feel like a lot of people still like they use their phones a lot, right? So it's like
Hmm.
it's our crutch, right? So whenever we're at a bar but we're by ourselves, we feel uncomfortable. The first thing we do is get on the phone, and then we
No,
leave.
no, I,
No,
I don't get on my phone. I
okay,
put my phone every time I'm at dinner. I try to be very present, and then just put my phone away.
okay. So all right, so being approachable, talking to the bartender, going on your own. So happy hour.
Hmm.
So let's say someone does approach you. What's kind of like the advice you give them after you've been approached? So how does the conversation flow? How do you start the conversation? Do they start the conversation?
Yeah, most of the time they start the conversation, and now you can start the conversation too. I say like, oh, like what did you order? Like it looks pretty good, and then you just need to ask one question. It doesn't even have to be anything super smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Just ask a question, and then chances are like you'll start a conversation.
Okay, so let's role play. Hi. What is that? Is that the caviar?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good actually. What did you order?
Oh crap. I don't know. I'm just having drinks with my friends.
Okay, cool. Where are you guys heading afterwards?
I don't know. I gotta go. But it's nice meeting you.
Oh, it's nice to meet you too.
Okay. Well, I feel like a lot of guys in Miami would kind of be that weird. I mean,
Mhm.
have you had experiences where it's been weird like that?
No, because most of the times they've initiated a conversation.
Okay.
So if they have the courage to initiate the conversation, well then
They
then
have,
I'll reciprocate
yeah, they'll have the
reciprocate
courage to
back.
kind of,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I was joking, but I think the way that conversation flowed, I think it would have been approachable, right? You were
Hmm.
approachable, you were engaging in the conversation, and it was a two-way conversation.
Hmm.
All right. So, dating scene in Miami, if we were to kind of explain it to someone who's new again. So, is it one where you go to a bar and it's an approachable situation, or is it one where what's the percentage of people that actually have that approachableness? Is it 80%? Is it 50%? Or what is it? Like, what's that percentage?
Yeah, it depends what bar you go to, and also yes, it depends what your scene is. Like, I try to go to bars or restaurants, so the bars of a restaurant where I know that I'm gonna meet more mature people. So in that instance, I think it's easy to start a conversation. But like, for example, if you're going to now another extreme to like, maybe I think it also depends on the quality of the bar slash restaurant.
Okay.
Because if nothing against Winwood is very cool, but if you're going to a place happy hour, $5 drinks, which as the older I've gotten, the more $5
You want to
drinks.
stay away from the $5 drinks.
Yeah, it's just the quality's not there anymore. But
So it has to be high quality. So what do you find high quality? So it's not Winwood or not routinely in Winwood. Right.
not some restaurants.
So
And
where is
bars.
it? Is it Miami
Yeah, like
Brickell? Is
River
it
Oyster's my spot.
okay?
River Oyster's my spot.
Shout out to River Oyster.
Yeah, just anywhere, any nice restaurant in the bar area.
Okay.
Where you meet people that are there for work, it would be weekdays.
Okay.
So I would say like probably starting Thursdays, but you can also do Wednesdays as well.
Any crazy stories about dating that you may have, or what's your best dating story?
Yes, I'll start off with my best dating story. I don't think I have a really bad dating story. I have one, but you probably have a worse one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you
So
mean them? The people out there.
I think you.
Yeah. Hey guys, if you're still here and you're enjoying the show, please give Malamia a follow and subscribe.
I'm going to tell you about a great date. And then I've had 2 not so great dates, but I've never had a terrible date. But I'll point it back at you. So the best date I've ever been on is, so during the pandemic, actually the guy that I was dating at the time, he was not a great person, and I caught him cheating. So we ended things, and then I went on the dating app, like the week of. Obviously, very emotionally available. So I matched with a guy, and my first thought was, wow, this guy looks like so much fun. He had this like printed suit. He was in the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
He was smoking a cigar. He just looked like a really, really fun guy, and we were in the same profession.
And this was on a dating app, or
this is in Bumble.
Okay.
We're both in I worked at that company, so I was like, okay, very credible, very.
Oh wait, so on Bumble, but you guys worked at the same company?
No. Well, also, this is a global company, so I worked at that company at the time.
Oh, okay.
That company.
But you were part of some kind of project within that company.
Yeah,
okay.
I worked at that company,
Mhm.
and then I was in the competitor. And I was like, okay, so reputable companies, like definitely smart guy, fun, character, charismatic. Oh my god, this is my guy.
Yeah, he has you smiling even now.
Yeah. So we met up, and it, like, for me at least, I don't like conversations to drag. I understand the logic behind getting to know a person before going out on a date, but for me, it's much more. I have a better success rate of meeting someone on the spot the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, like, if you like them, you like them. And if you don't, then you don't. I think, pro tip for dating for women, especially if you live in Brickell, always choose a bar or try to recommend for a bar near you, because if the date is bad, well, you just walk right back home.
Yeah, but whatever happened to kind of just having that emergency friend you can call and say, hey, call me if this date sucks?
Yeah, that's a good point. That is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just like, okay, well, worst case scenario, I just walked back home and I only wasted, I get
The walk there, the calories.
there like 40 minutes to get ready. So,
Yeah.
not that bad.
Yeah. And I think another point you made too is if you're matching with someone on the app, it should be, hey, we hit it off. I think you're attractive on your profile. Let's meet within the same week instead of a long conversation about.
Long conversation. But I do have friends that it does make sense. They just want to get to know the person and make sure, like, they want to add a lot of value to the first date. For me, it's like, hey, clearly I'm physically attracted to you. You look like fun. Like, let's go and see if it potentially can go on a second date.
All right. So back to this best date ever.
Yeah.
So you meet him up. You meet up with him. You are attracted to his profile. You guys have worked in similar fields. So now what?
Yeah. So he picks me up, but he calls me. He's like, hey, I'm downstairs. I go downstairs. He gets out of the Uber. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. He gets out and like he gives me a big hug. And then he opens my door. And then we go inside. So at that time, it was during COVID. So there was only Copper 29 that was open. That was the bar that I recommended. He's like, hey, I just moved to Miami. I've been in Miami for like 2 weeks. He's like, do you have a bar that you recommend? I'm like, well, during COVID times, there's like 5 bars open. So let's do Copper 29. Went to Copper 29, and then he didn't even have a mask. He had like a bandana.
Okay.
And it was so funny. Like I looked at him and I was like, oh my gosh. And then.
But wait, you looked at him.
Like, yeah, like it was just so funny because like he had a bandana, but if you really think about it, like, like obviously he's gonna take off his mask or bandana, and then we're gonna talk in person, and then like if you do kiss or you do something. So like.
So wait, when he got out of the Uber, he had his bandana on.
Or
okay. So you didn't see his face yet. You saw the profile, but not his face until okay.
Yeah, that's true. I did not.
Okay.
And then we get to the bar, and he takes off his bandana, and I'm here like with my mask. I was like, oh my gosh, should I take it off or should I leave it on? I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna take it off. And we were outside because being outside makes such a difference.
Right.
Get outside, and then we hit it off like right off the bat. He was just so nice, so smart, like everything that I remember looking for. And then we go back again during COVID time, so it was like midnight or something, or 11 p.m. It's curfew. Everything was closing down, and he's like, "Oh, do you have another bar? Do you want to go for another drink?" I was like, "Okay." So we went to a bar nearby my apartment, and then the bar, there was a capacity, right? So like, no, we can't, we don't allow any more people. And then this is something else that I really liked about him. He was like quick on his feet, always trying to hustle. He's like, well, like when I was in college, I was a bouncer.
Okay.
So the first thing he tried to do is he tried to bribe him. He's like, what do I give $2? Would you let us in? And the bartender was like, okay.
Yeah. So he was quick on his feet. Yeah. So what did the bartenders, not the bartender, but the bouncer.
The bouncer. He's like, okay.
All right. So he did it. Yeah.
He let us in. We got a table. And then I ordered my drink. He finished his. I was still on my drink. And he said, oh, well, I'm going to grab another drink. Do you want one? I was like, no, I'm fine. And then he came back. And he had a glass of ice. He's like, well, I saw that your glass was, your ice was melted.
Oh, so attentive. So the guy's on point of this. Like, he's attentive. He's a gentleman. All right. What else is he doing? Because
he's funny. He's so funny. Yeah, that's the key to my heart, being funny. You can have all the money in the world. Obviously, money's important. Like, he was so funny. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, this is a man to marry. And I was like, that sucks that we don't have connection.
What do you mean you don't have connection?
I mean, I literally had just found out my boyfriend at the time.
Oh, you weren't ready.
I was not emotionally available.
Right.
But I thought to myself, wow, this is someone you marry. Like, this is someone that's a keeper.
So you just weren't at the right place at that time to appreciate everything and follow through with.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fast forward. TBD on how.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's still in the works. All right, awesome. So let's go to the dark side.
Yeah, to the worst state.
Yeah.
Version 2. Okay. So again, I'm always big on like, okay, like it's always best to go on a date when you first match. I've never had a wrong date, like never had a bad date, except so this guy, swipe, swipe right. What is it? Yeah, swipe right. We match. Cute. I'm like, okay, cool. We agree on a date, and it's like walking distance from my apartment. I was like, okay, cool. I meet him at the bar, and I'm like looking around, and I recognize him, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, this is before the date. You guys have matched, but you guys haven't set up a date yet.
Well, no, yeah, we already set up a date.
Okay.
And then we agreed on meeting at.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the bar, and I'm like looking around. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like about like 40 pounds heavier.
Oh,
this
shit.
isn't like holiday weight.
So is this a catfish?
I got catfish. He was chunks.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, you know what? Like that's it. Like I already committed.
You got to follow through now.
So I was like, oh, and I was like, you know what? Maybe he has a great personality. I'm always trying to be like positive. Clearly I'm not attracted to him, so that's already down the hill.
Right.
But I might as well make the best of it. Like maybe we're still gonna have fun time. He's a funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just hang out and like have fun, and then that's it.
Right.
I was like, all right. And even in those instances, when I know off the bat I don't like the guy, like you know what? I mean, I might even offer to like pay for half of it.
Okay. So you were ready to pay for half because he wasn't your type. Yeah. Maybe he could be funny, but let's see where it ends up. Yeah.
We get there, we meet, and we're talking. Such a negative Nancy. Ranting about work. Oh my gosh, work this, work that. I was like, okay, stressing out about work.
So, fellas, when you're on your first date, don't talk about anything that's super negative because they won't like it. Your date won't like it.
No one likes a negative Nancy.
Right.
We all like positive patties. Positive patties are the way to go.
Okay. So he's being negative. You're okay with it because you know what, you're there. Let's see what else happens. So
exactly. And then afterwards, I thought to myself, okay, after this drink, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, oh, I have a friend in town actually that's coming. He actually wants to join us. Do you mind? And I'm like, okay, well, clearly this is not, I don't see this as a date anymore. I was like, sure, why not? Because my first Bumble date ever is actually with a guy that was in town traveling for work, and he brought his friend along. Like his friend was there with him. So I actually went out with both of them, but it wasn't like, it wasn't what you thought. Like it was just friends. Like
who brings a friend to a date?
I know,
but how does that work? How do you show up? Hey, we're on a date, but this is my friend.
Well, he told me, he's like, hey, I'm with a friend. Do you mind? So it wasn't really a date. It was like a.
Where do you guys sit at the bar at the table?
Yeah. Like it was
okay.
Like just at a bar. So it wasn't really a date. It was more like, hey, like we're two guys and like, and for me, I thought it was nice. I was like, okay, less pressure on me. Like, that was actually after I was like in a 6-year relationship. So for me, I thought it was great because I was like, okay, no pressure. Clearly, this is not a date. So for me, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see how if you're trying to date with intention, that's not
right.
Not great.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, same concept. Maybe his friend is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his friend is way better than this asshole. Well, he wasn't an asshole. He was just uptight. He comes in, his friend is even worse than him.
Oh boy.
I was like, oh my god. I was like, okay, great. So I'm here, I was like, okay, after this drink, I'm out. And then they said, oh, we're going to this and this bar. Do you want to come? And I thought to myself, that's actually literally passing by my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? That's a good idea because I get walked to my apartment. It's already, at this point, I think it was like 12:30. Get walk to my apartment, and then I could just cancel.
Oh, okay.
And then bye. Well, what are they going to say? That's exactly what I did. I walked by, and then I was like, you know what? I actually have to work out tomorrow morning. I forgot to look at the time. Oh my gosh, I have to wake up at 7. And they're like, oh, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I have to go. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, that.
Left, and they kept convincing.
That's it.
And then the funny part was he actually texted me the next day, and I thought to myself, really?
Oh, what did he say? Hey, I had a good night last night.
It's like, oh, it would have been. I would have preferred to cuddle with you.
What the hell?
What vibe did I give you?
Yeah, when did he pick that up?
I don't know what vibe.
Maybe he meant to send a text to his friend.
I don't think so. But yeah, at that point, I didn't respond.
Yeah. All right. So that's actually pretty interesting. A good and a bad.
Yeah, and then the second not best date has been again very spontaneous on the spot date. We met at a wine bar. One red flag. No, it wasn't a red flag.
Okay.
I'm a drinker, so as you can see, he was not. I drink once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Said, okay, FYI, I am a drinker.
Okay.
So if you don't like it, like that's a
cancel the date now.
Like,
right.
He's like, no, it's fine. I just don't really drink often. I said, okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for me, that mentality of like I already committed, like we already, discovered I'm a drinker. He's not a drinker. I was like, all right, okay,
right,
let's go. We go. I ended up ordering an appetizer because I came back from the gym. I ate dinner, but I don't know. I guess my appetite was much more.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna order. I ordered a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I drank like 3/4 of it.
Right.
And then I remember thinking when we got the bill, I remember thinking to myself, man, I feel kind of bad. Like,
it was all mine. Yeah.
This literally was all mine.
Right.
Before I could even like process my thoughts.
Right.
He said, like, we got the check, and he's like, you want to split it?
Oh.
And I was like, you didn't even let me offer.
Right. So if he would have waited 2 seconds, you would have already said, hey, let me split the bill. But because he said, let's split it, it was the biggest turn off at that point. Yeah.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
And then I remember talking to a couple of friends about it, and they're like, one friend is like, you should have just walked out.
You should have said you were going to the bathroom or something.
I could have. I think I was just so shocked by it. Like I've never on a date have ever been asked to pay.
Right.
So I thought that was.
Did he drink any of the bottle?
He drank a glass.
A glass, yeah.
He drank a glass.
Did he eat?
No. I ate all of the appetizers.
Okay.
And I drank 3/4 of the bottle.
And then, so he had one glass.
One glass.
Well, I'm gonna have to challenge you on that one. So he had one glass, but you had the bulk of the.
I know. That was a debate. That was a debate in my head. But my friend was like, well, he's still the gentleman.
Was he? Was he a gentleman from the beginning, or?
He was. I would have seen him after the next day.
Right.
We just didn't really have much in common. Again, it was fun. Like we had like a lot of like challenging conversations.
Mm-hmm.
He was an interesting guy. He just wasn't my cup of tea.
Right. So when he asked to split the bill, I guess your initial thought was, what was it? More like, what the hell? Or
yeah, you didn't even let me offer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I would have offered.
Yeah.
That sounds like fuck you.
All right.
Yeah. Then he texted me like 2 weeks later. Ignored.
Oh yeah. No. All right. Let's take.
Oh, okay. And then.
Oh wait.
So I technically have not had a terrible date, but I'm sure you strike me as a man that has had multiple terrible dates.
You know what? That's actually the opposite. So if I have dated, I've dated within my circle of friends. The dating app thing doesn't work for me.
Circle of friends?
Yeah. So either people who I know through people, or I'm going to go as far as college, but people who I used to go to school with, never anyone from work, but definitely friends of friends of friends.
So let me ask you another question. Have you ever gone on a second date
with
any of those women
that I knew through friends? Yeah, I think they've been some of the best relationships I've had.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you had relationships afterwards. Because I was going to say, it gets kind of awkward if you had a really bad first or second date and then you still continue to see that person, because
yeah, but
once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, but for me, I think it's a little bit different, because if you start as friends, it's easier to kind of brush it off if it doesn't work, in my opinion. But I've never been in that situation.
So you like to maintain friendships with all your.
I have no hard feelings. It is what it is. Everyone comes into your life to show you or to teach you a lesson.
Everyone has a purpose in life.
Yeah.